Imagine being told at the age of 3 years old that you only had 5 minutes to live. Imagine growing up shadowed by the specter of inadequacy, always feeling second best, haunted by a skull fractured in childhood. Now imagine transcending these prophecies of doom, not just surviving but thriving, guided by a force beyond comprehension. This is my story, a journey from crippling fear to unshakable faith, marked by divine interventions and personal triumphs. I am Perry Richardson. My life began under a dark cloud. At 3, I collided with a truck, an accident that fractured my skull and nearly ended my journey prematurely. The prognosis was grim. Survival seemed a distant hope. This brush with death cast a long shadow over my childhood. I grew up haunted by a sense of fragility, perpetually aware of my mortality. My self-image was tethered to this event, broken, vulnerable, unlikely to survive. Yet in this fragility, my family's faith enveloped me like a cocoon. Despite the despair, their belief in divine purpose never wavered. It was this faith, more than any medicine, that nursed me back from the brink. Growing up, I was acutely aware of my perceived inadequacies. Although I celebrated the success of my brothers, I felt like there was no significance to my life. Their gifts a stark contrast to my own struggles. Poor self-esteem became my constant companion. In school, mathematics were my only refuge, the only arena where I could glimpse respect, albeit fleetingly. These small academic victories were life rafts in a sea of self-doubt. This battle was not just internal. It was mirrored in every hesitant step I took, every dream I was too scared to chase. Limiting beliefs weren't just thoughts. They shaped my reality. Fear was a familiar presence in my life. Fear of God, fear of failure, and significantly, fear of my father. His strict discipline was well-intentioned but daunting. I lived under the weight of my own immense expectations, always dreading his disappointment. This fear stifled me, curbing the freedom to explore, to err, and to learn from those errors. While my friends basked in the warmth of youthful indiscretions, I stood back, envying their freedom, but bound by my own reservations. In this environment, every action was calculated. Every decision weighed against potential spiritual and familial repercussions. The cost of missteps was too high. When I finally grasped freedom, it was intoxicating. I could make my own choices, follow my own path. But this freedom also led to revelations. The pleasures and pursuits I once envied in others soon revealed their hollow core. Like Solomon, I learned that much of what the world offered was vanity, a chasing after the wind. My experiences, filled with initial exhilaration, often ended in spiritual and existential emptiness. This realization was bitter but necessary. It was a pivotal moment of growth, a painful shedding of illusions for the sake of deeper truths. My life has been bookmarked by medical crises and divine interventions. The childhood accident was just the beginning. Decades later, complications from that early injury necessitated a complex skull reconstruction and the removal of what was thought to be an epidermal cyst. It turned out to be inflammation built up on debris from my prior operation. This time, doctors were optimistic, but surgeries are never a guarantee, and the devil once again tried to take my life, but once again, God brought me through. Looking back, it's clear that a higher power was at work, guiding me through each perilous moment. These medical miracles are not just personal victories. They are testimonies to the relentless protective grace that has defined my existence. My career trajectory was as unexpected as it was remarkable. From a young man plagued by self-doubt to the deputy principal of a respected institution, this was a path I hadn't dared to envision. My qualifications might have seemed inadequate on paper, but I was equipped by something greater. It was God who qualified me, who saw potential where others saw lack. In this role, supported by a community committed to upliftment, I found not just a job but a calling. Here I could serve, lead, and grow, not for my glory, but for a greater good. Miracles weren't just in the Holy Bible. They were real, palpable events in my life. I witnessed my father, crippled by arthritis and a degenerative muscle condition, find healing and was able to walk after attending a Benny Hinn crusade. These were not mere coincidences, but divine interventions, each one reinforcing my faith, reminding me and those around me of the active presence of God in our lives. Such experiences have not only strengthened my belief, but have also been a beacon for the community, showcasing the tangible power of faith. Throughout my life, I've felt a divine shield around me, safeguarding me from both physical threats and spiritual pitfalls. This protection has been a constant reminder that I am not navigating this life alone. Understanding this has been essential, especially when facing the darkest moments. Knowing there is a higher power watching over me has provided comfort and courage. It's this protection that has allowed me to take risks, to embrace my destiny without fear, trusting that the path laid out for me is under divine supervision. Despite personal revelations and community miracles, I've witnessed a troubling drift in spiritual commitment in Anguilla. Faith, once the cornerstone of our community, now often feels like a mere cultural artifact, not the living, breathing force it once was. This decline is a call to action for believers. We must not only live our faith, but also actively engage in revitalizing it, making it relevant for the next generations. It's a challenge, but also an opportunity to reaffirm the transformative power of genuine belief in a modern, often skeptical world. To those who have wandered away, consider this a call back to faith. The doors are open, not for judgment, but for renewal and acceptance. God's grace is sufficient to overcome any deception or destruction that life throws your way. It's time to reclaim your spiritual heritage, to rise above the disillusionment, and rediscover the profound joy of faith. I declare an awakening in your life, a revival of heart and spirit that can defy the encroaching shadows of disbelief and despair. May you find solace in these words and strength in your faith. I pray for your liberation from any chains that bind you, be it fear, addiction, or doubt. May the love of God manifest through His Son Jesus not be a condemnation, but a beacon of hope and salvation. Embrace this love, let it heal and transform you. Go forth in faith, armed with the truth and shielded by divine grace. Remember, no matter the trials, you are never alone. May your journey from fear to faith be as blessed and transformative as mine has been.